Hey everybody, Cal Engineering here, and welcome to episode 17 of Journey Across the Void. In between episodes, if you look behind me, you'll see that I tried putting in the windows where the elevators were going to be, and I was just playing around with some designs. Over here, I think I have it just about perfect for the elevator side, but then when I put the walls of the elevator in, it's going to interfere with this massive window taking up the side. Looking at the drawings of the Triskelion, it's very, very weird. It looks like it's impossible where the elevators are supposed to be versus where the large window is because, yeah, there's virtually no space in between whatsoever. So I'm going to have to compromise, and probably these two lines or these two columns of glass blocks are going to get put out or taken out and replaced with the 1286 just so I can actually make a wall for the elevator to be put in. Over here, since it's on an angle, it was a little more difficult. I tried putting in the 1286 just to see how it looks, and I put in too much on this side, so I'm going to take out these two columns of 1286 and put in the glass instead. Or maybe one column. It's kind of hard because I do want two walls in, one so I can actually hide where the elevator is going to be. The elevator block is actually going to be on the far side, right across from this glass, and two walls are going to help hide that. So I think I'm going to leave it on this one. It's not terrible to look at. It's just a little jarring that there is this much space between the wall and the window, at least to me. But enough about the building. What I want to do in this episode, the very first thing I want to do in this episode, is reset up my fusion reactor. I'm going to set the fusion reactor up on this floor right here. And I'm going to make it a little bit larger than I did before. I've made more fusion connectors, more electromagnets, and more transparent electromagnets to facilitate that because I want this to be a tier 3. I have enough that it can be a tier 4, but yeah, I think I'm going to have it a tier 3. I don't think I have enough electromagnets to make it a tier 4, only the fusion connectors. So I'm going to hook it up, but there's some other stuff related to cooling and related to control that I didn't go over before, and I want to cover that in this episode. This, I believe, is going to be my last episode covering nuclear craft related stuff. Anything else I do nuclear craft is going to be done off camera, with the exception of these solar panels. I'm going to be making elite solar panels, and I will be placing them in the Triskelion. On the map, right about... Yeah, I guess right about here, there is a windowed area, and I am going to have solar panels in that windowed area. It's supposed to be some sort of atrium-looking thing, but yeah, I'm going to have solar panels right here, and they're going to be the nuclear craft solar panels and the solar panels. Trying to find a nice balance between the two. Also on top of here, I need to figure out stuff to put. It has to be some sort of machinery to make it look like some sort of piping or air conditioning or something is on top. Because right now it is just a blank platform. So design things I have to think about a little bit later. But without any further ado, I want to build this fusion reactor. So I'll be back with you shortly, and let's get to it. So here is the fusion reactor set up exactly the same way that it was before when it was sitting on top of the Triskelion. I have my two ender tanks, and I don't think I explained it before, but there are filters in here. This one is going to be blacklisting helium, and this one is going to be whitelisting helium. The reason being is because one of the outputs for this is neutron fluid, but throughout the course of this fusion reactor running before it exploded on me, I didn't actually make any neutron fluid, or if I did, it wasn't sorting properly, so it didn't go anywhere. As such, I couldn't make a filter whitelisting the neutron fluid, so just blacklisted the helium. I also have a flux plug up here that's going into my fusion reactor network. I'm going to make another induction matrix and set this somewhere, probably up against this wall. And that is going to be storing all of my fusion reactor power, and then that large induction matrix I set over here is going to be powering everything else in the base. I'm going to have to tear down my extreme reactor setup at some point, or maybe that'll power the sieve setup. That sounds like a much better plan. The tritium I have in here is more than enough to keep this thing running to generate quite a bit of power, more than enough to fill in whatever size induction matrix I generate, and I'm going to go over comparators and RF monitors a little bit later so that you can automatically shut this off whenever it's running, whenever the temperature or the efficiency reaches a certain point, because temperature, like I explained a couple episodes ago, is important. So my next step is to get the electromagnets powered up, and that's going to be no problem whatsoever. I already have my flux points, and I'm going to be using 6 of them. And these will be drawing power from, oh shoot. Yeah, these will be drawing power from the fission reactor I have on the other side of that wall. So, yeah, I'm going to set all of these up, and I'll be back with you shortly. So my flux plugs are just not doing the job. So I'm going to have to find another solution. My solution is going to be upgrading my my flux ducts, and I'm going to be putting the power into the electromagnets a different way. It'll be more interesting to look at the very least. So I'm going to take this pulverized obsidian and this pulverized lead, and I am going to throw it into an induction smelter. This induction smelter is freshly built, freshly upgraded, and oh man, it has been a while since I've had to look at this. So lead goes here, and pulverized obsidian goes here. Here we go. So I'm going to be making a bunch of hardened glass because I need to make the next tier up of flux ducts. So here we are, redstone energy flux ducts. So the redstone energy flux ducts are made with electrum, which I have made in the past, that's no problem, and this hardened glass I'm making right now. So the redstone energy flux ducts are going to be turned into Signallum flux ducts, and the Signallum flux ducts with a fluid transposer and destabilized redstone will become Signallum flux ducts, which can transfer 16,000 RF a tick. What I'm going to be doing is hooking these Signallum flux ducts into, let's see here, these ultimate energy cubes. So the ultimate energy cubes are going to be receiving power via the flux points from the fission reactor, and from there transferring the power. I believe the problem I'm running into with the flux points is because I have so many running at the same time. There are 6 of them running, trying to draw from the same source, that it's not evenly distributing the RF properly. So I'm going to try to distribute the RF a little different way, and I think using a middleman like the ultimate energy cube is going to solve my problem. So here are my Signallum flux ducts, and the way that I made my Signallum is I use a Sabuchi alloy. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. I didn't even know that this exists, but it is made with copper and silver, which is pretty much the base for Signallum anyway, and that combined with destabilized redstone will make you Signallum. So that was how I made it. It was actually very easy since I didn't have the normal machine, and normally it takes like buckets of redstone and a crafting grid. So yeah, that made it a lot easier to do. Anyway, now that I have these, all I have to do is go to my fluid transposer. Oh, I should probably get rid of this. And now that that's done, I need to actually break this since it is done for me and put it back where it goes. So now that I have this, all I have to do is put in the Signallum flux duct, and it will take the destabilized redstone and give me the Signallum flux ducts. So I've set up the energy cubes, and I'm actually in the middle of configuring them right now. So if you, I'm holding the configurator, and it is configured to energy right now. Since it's green, that means that this is only an input. I'm going to shift right click it. Now that it's red, that means that this side is capable of outputting power to my cables, and I want to make sure that everything is proper before I actually hook in the cables. And I've already done this one before I hit record, so let's put the electromagnets back. Alright, now that the electromagnets are back, let's hook in a cable and see how quickly, wow, energy spreads very quickly. Oh, and it's maintaining very well in the ultimate energy cube as well. This may be a good solution, and I'm actually kind of excited at this point. So I have plans to use some steel scaffolding to actually have the power come down from the rafters and hook in using these flux ducts. Wow! And it's maintaining perfectly. No drop in RF on the cubes. Yeah, I think this is going to work perfectly. So I'm going to move this up and connect it here. Do the same over here. Now it's kind of, I know it's kind of sloppy looking with the multiple connections. I'm going to take my thermal wrench and remove the connection right here and right here, just so it looks a little better. Oh no. Power's not transferring up here. Oh, I didn't configure it. There it goes. All right. So this seems to be working a treat. I'm going to hook up the rest of them, beautify it a little bit, and then we're actually going to get the fusion reactor started. All right, there we go. My fusion reactor is running, which means I can get rid of these. Here we go. All right, now that it is running, I don't really have to worry about it. I can set it and forget it. What I'm still going to do, though, is I'm going to place a comparator, and I'm going to have it in efficiency mode, because efficiency is about to be important to me when I get into these active coolers. So I'm going to place a comparator, and I'm going to place 15 pieces of redstone around the corner. Here we go, around the corner of the fusion core. So now, whenever I have the efficiency, because I have this button selected, whenever the efficiency is at 95%, it will correction, efficiency is right here. Whenever efficiency is at 95%, it will automatically shut off the fusion reactor until it drops below 95%, and then it'll turn back on again. I can have it in temperature mode, and it will do the same exact thing. So, yeah, now that I have that going, I am ready to start working on the active coolers. It has been, I don't know, about 7 minutes since I turned this thing on, and the efficiency is already at 29%. That is enough to activate the comparator, and 4 ticks of the redstone have already been activated, so I'm very happy about that. But now, we're going to move on to the active coolers. I just made 32 of them, which is overkill. You do not need 32 of them. And they're made with basic plating, copper, tin, and cauldrons, and they set up kind of weird. So, however you set them up on whatever side, and you have to set them on one of the diagonals, this diagonal of the fusion reactor, however you set it up, you need to put it on the opposite end on the other side. So let's say I'm going to put a quantum tank right here because I need to fill it with water. I'm going to do the same thing over here, and that's how you need to set up the water cooler. So if I put one here, it'll be more efficient if it has one on its opposite face. So not this opposite face, but the opposite side here. And then they would be more efficient working together. So I'm going to set up... yeah, here we go. 5. Just to start with, I'm going to have 5 going. Then I'm going to fill up this quantum tank so that the water will start running. And 5. The water will start running. All you have to do is just fill up one of them, and it will actually transfer the water through, so you don't have to worry about that. So I have my infinite water upgrade. Oh, it needs to be filled with water. Duh. Here we are, filled with water. Infinite upgrade. Booyah. So take one more bucket, throw it in over here, and infinite upgrade. So now the water should be filling in. Do I have this wrong? I thought being connected was enough. There we go. Alright, water is filling into each of the active coolers. And let's see what this is actually doing for my active cooling rate is 167 Kelvin per tick, 6%. So that is not very good. I'm going to continue to add water to this. Oh, it's not. There it goes. Alright, the tank is slowly but surely filling. So I'm going to hook this one up the same exact way. There it goes. Alright, the tanks are filling up, and let's see what it's doing to my active cooling rate. So the active cooling rate will not show up until you actually have an active cooler on the structure. So yeah, this is not normally being shown by default. So I need to... Maybe I should add some cryothium. Water used to be enough. Now I have 7 of the active coolers on each side, and I'm actually going to up it to 8 on each side as well. And that should put my cooling rate at about 32%? Oh, wow, 42%, and much more. So looking at the temperature change, you see how it's decreasing? The temperature is still rising, but the rate that it will be rising is decreasing because of these active coolers. And yeah, I think I'm going to stick with water. Temperature is not really my concern. This thing is going to turn off before the temperature even rises to that point anyway. And wow, I already have quite a few of the redstone. I have a lot of misconceptions about how this comparator is working. It's only at, what, 58%, and it's already right here? There it goes. All right, you see once it hits 90.1% efficiency, it actually turned off, dropped below 90%, and then is going to continue to rise. So it's going to be in this cycle perpetually until I turn it off. And one thing I've noticed while I was watching the efficiency is I am using a lot of tritium, more than I thought I would, honestly. I was looking at different ways that I can make tritium, and it looks like my best bet's going to be neutron irradiator with neutron fluid. Luckily, it's what I'm making right now with the reactor, and lithium-6. Lithium-6 is pretty easy to get. It's just molten lithium inside a centrifuge. So that is something I'm going to do in the next episode. I know earlier I said that I was going to stop. I know earlier I said that this was going to be the last episode I focus on nuclear craft, but yeah, next episode we're going to produce tritium, so at least I can have this thing running perpetually, because I am making... Holy wow. Okay, I am making 243,000 RF a tick using this fusion reactor. That is quite a bit, and I want to keep it always on. So, yeah, next episode is Tritium and Ender IO. But I am Kelly Engineering, and I hope that you did enjoy this episode, even though I only did this one thing. But I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.